Just as terrifying as being there. Even if one of them survives, what will be left? The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. After you stop screaming, you'll start talking about it.
Boy, was this a grisly little film. I must ask the viewing audience, what was the purpose of this film? To be scary, to be shocking, to disturb the ever-loving crap out of you? Sorry, not buying it. Especially for a movie called The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Surely it must have had a bigger purpose than that, and if its purpose was to be a down-home tale of the dramas of youth in the 1970s, then it failed. Of course, if its only goal was to be one of the best horror films ever made, then it certainly achieved that goal. But who would want to make something like that? Doesn't every director want to make movies like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington or Ordinary People? Surely no one actually sets out to make movies like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or I Spit on Your Grave, or Friday the 13th, or Hooker with a Heart of Gold. You may call this a successful horror film, but I call it a failed attempt at making a drama. Welcome to another year of the Cinema Snob. I told you I was going to spotlight some more popular flicks. Let's watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The film which you are about to see is an account of the tragedy which befell a group of 5 youths.
I do not ever remember hearing about this story 8 years before I was born.
In particular, Sally Hardesty and her invalid brother, Franklin.
Invalid? That's a horrible name to call someone, even if he does die.
They could not have expected, nor would they have wished to see as much of the mad and macabre as they were to see that day.
Excuse me. It's pronounced macabre.
For them, an idyllic summer afternoon drive became a nightmare.
And that was just because of the high gas prices. Ooh.
The events of that day were to lead to the discovery of one of the most bizarre crimes in the annals of American history, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Previously referred to as Head Cheese. No, seriously, the original title for the movie was Head Cheese. Not that it would have mattered anyway, I still wouldn't have recommended the movie. The only way that I would recommend this movie is if it were called The Godfather. Also, was that John Larroquette providing the narration? How dare he take this job before he became famous? He was Dan Fielding, goddammit! Well, I certainly hope he learned his lesson and stayed far away from that Bayergized remake. What? He did what? Wait, 1973? Didn't they see Texas Chainsaw 3D? Clearly, this is supposed to be taking place in the late 80s, early 90s. What's going on here? Someone's snapping still shots of faces of death in a dark theater. That's distracting. Maybe it would look okay if they had some proper lighting. Ah, much better. Whew. Pew, this is my least favorite Michelangelo statue. No wonder he switched to marble. But who am I to question art? Hey, Gunnar Hansen is in this. Isn't he the guy who played Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw Massacre? As you can see, the movie takes place on the sun. It's sort of like Texas, except you can't execute the handicapped on the sun. I see catering for the film crew has arrived. Save me the tail, boys. Or maybe we should just wait until John Belushi gets done taking a leak in someone's coffee can.
Franklin!
Well, that movie wasn't nearly as frightening as I thought it would be. In fact, it was kind of hilarious. Almost as hilarious as me. That's not how the movie ends. We haven't even gotten to the astrology course yet.
The condition of retrogradation is contrary or inharmonious to the regular direction of actual movement in the zodiac, and is in that respect evil. Hence, when malefic planets are in retrograde, and Saturn's malefic, okay, their malefice is increased.
Yes, but what about when the left star is 2 octaves east of the Earth's Venus, thus creating conflict in the Sun's collective of the Lion and the Taurus? Damn right I pulled that out of my ass. A group of friends go on a drive through Texas to see if their grandfather's grave has been desecrated, and if not, they're gonna piss on it themselves.
My granddaddy's buried here. Can we find out if anything happened to him?
What's your granddaddy's name?
Honey, that big, heavy feller's a standing with that flashlight in his hand. That's the sheriff. You go tell him your granddaddy's buried in there.
Make sure you stay away from the pet cemetery. Look at this guy. Give him 5 minutes and he'll start eating a cheeseburger. Of course, all of this is near a slaughterhouse, so things are gonna start stinking a little more than Franklin here's diaper.
I mean, they'd start squealing and freaking out and everything, and then have to come up and bash them 2 or 3 times. And then sometimes it wouldn't kill them. I mean, they'd skin them sometimes even before they were even dead.
Hey, that's my material for when I go out on a first date. And guess what it leads to?
Franklin, I like meat. Please change the subject. Yeah, that's terrible.
The gang picks up a hitchhiker, but I think they should be safe. He looks nothing like Rutger Hauer.
Hey, man, did you go in that slaughter room or whatever they call it? The place where they shoot the cattle in the head with that big air gun thing.
Oh, that gun's no good. With a sledge. See, that was better. They died better that way.
Not the best material in the world, but it is the highlight of the blue-collar comedy tour. Also, want to know what head cheese is?
They take the head and they boil it, except for the tongue. And they scrape all the flesh away from the bone. They use everything. They don't throw nothing away.
Does it really matter what the fuck it's made out of? I'm sure there's a guy on the internet who'll try it. Well, at least he doesn't have a... Oh shit, he's got a knife.
Oh, what are you doing to yourself?
Awkward, yes, but I've just cast the lead in my sitcom Welcome Back, Kotter. Fuck, Josh Gad is scared shitless. Might I add that this is the unsexiest episode of Bang Bus that I've ever seen. After taking Franklin's picture, thus stealing his soul, the creepy hitchhiker is beginning to overstay his welcome. Now that may seem weird, but they didn't have a simple delete button to get rid of pictures back then. I guess this is the 3rd strike, so crackhead James Duval here gets thrown out of the van. This book is predicting that someone is gonna put their meat hooks on me. Kinky. 20 minutes in, and not one Shakespeare reference. Just saying. And yes, barbecue Coca-Cola is a very underrated flavor.
Would you fill her up, please?
My tank's empty. Transport won't be here until late this afternoon.
No gas? You mean we drove all the way out here to the Gulf for nothing? The group wants to check out an old family home, but the old man doesn't think much of their idea.
You boys don't want to go mess around no old house? Those things is dangerous. You're liable to get hurt.
Yeah, Marlon Wayans could be in there shooting a really shitty comedy. Don't worry, Franklin. I'm starting to miss the hitchhiker, too.
Man, it takes something, though. I mean, just to do that to yourself like he did. God.
Yeah, it does take something. It takes college. Also, what are you eating?
You think that guy's just trying to scare us by, blowing up my picture like that?
No, he was just trying to foreshadow. You should thank him later. Ugh, now he looks like Babe Ruth if the babe had a dick hanging out of his mouth. Or is that the hitchhiker's droppings? I was hungry, guys. I had to eat something. It's weird seeing these young people act like real people. I'm so used to modern horror films where they act like the biggest pieces of scum on the planet. So either modern screenwriters don't know how to write people, or we really are the biggest pieces of scum on the planet. Either way, I'm sticking with that most modern horror screenwriters don't know how to write people. Hey, don't help him. If we don't let him do this on his own, he'll never know how to properly be a slasher movie victim. Oh shit, he stumbled upon the Blair Witch. Someone's gonna wheel him into a corner.
Salad.
Oh, well, that there is nothing. That just means you have to make out with a chicken. A couple of them head off to the lake, which, as you can see, has been sucked up by Texas. But maybe this other house has a bathtub or something. If anything, they've got free cups. Don't be turned off if you hear the sound of an outdoor generator. That just means that someone's home. I hope they don't go in that house. I do not want something awful to happen in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's okay, the house is just having one of those recurring dreams where its teeth are falling out. Oh boy, I hope this shot is converted into 3D someday. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Hello? Hey, Pam!
Elmer Fudd is in there raping Porky Pig. But, you know, I'd want to see that with my own eyes, too. Wait, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, dead bodies, oh, I get the title now. Okay. Sorry. I thought this movie was gonna be about a guy in Texas who liked to kill chainsaws. And hey, this shot right here is all that any of the makers of the sequels or remakes ever took away from this film. I used to be a delivery driver, and quite honestly, I've seen messier houses than this. Of all the movies you'd expect Colonel Sanders to cameo in, you'd think it'd be this one, mainly for the living conditions. At least she's found out what happened to the Klopex. I heard Ed Gein tried suing this movie for slander, and something about bones making a way better table than a bench. Also, I think they got that turtle shell on loan from Ruggiero Deodato. The human in me is scared, but the critic in me does not approve. Hey now, if God didn't want us to hang from meat hooks, then he wouldn't have given us shoulder blades. Obviously, that needed way more gore, because didn't the sequels teach us that gorier is scarier? Oh right, there's some people who haven't died horribly yet.
Can I go too?
I think you better stay here.
Right? According to the prologue, you're the survivor, which, by the way, spoiler alert! Ah, I see he's walking into one of the scenes from Days of Heaven. Although if this scene ends with something happening, we'll know it isn't the Malick masterpiece. You know, if one of the members of King Harvest were knocking at my door, I'd probably let him in. Scary, yes, but she only reacted that way because she had a hot pocket up her ass. I sort of sympathize with Leatherface here. Sure, he's a serial killer who thinks the sledgehammer is better than the gun, but it is rather annoying to keep catching people breaking into your house. Odd. The sun has gone down. There is something weird going on here. God damn it, move, Franklin! Can't you take the fucking hint? I cannot believe that they are shooting in what looks to be night. This is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It should be day for night, because that's what I want to complain about. It's getting really scary now, because he's shining a flashlight under his face. Let's get one more piece of sibling rivalry in before the third act.
Flashlight!
No, I got to take the flashlight. All right,
I'm gonna go look for him. Give me the flashlight!
I'll go with you, all right?
He has to go with you. We've been waiting for him to die for 50 minutes. Jeez, looks like Larry Flint creeping up on Marsha Brady. And shall I sum up the next 5 minutes for you?
Jerry!
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 Even Jerry's corpse is screaming out, I'm fucking dead!
Sally, I hear something. Stop. Stop.
Don't worry about Franklin. His skeleton will appear in the next movie, albeit with a completely different flashlight. See, this is the shit that happens when you wear white after Labor Day. A serial killer will be able to spotlight you from a mile away. Oh wait, is this after Labor Day? I can't remember. All I know is that this is clearly the late 80s and early 90s. Maybe that nice man who lives in the basement will help, especially since Johnny Knoxville here seems to be of no service. Oh my goodness, must resist urge to play yakety sax. Can't play yakety sax, can't play yakety sax, that bit is too overdone. Wait, ooh, I got it. I wish they'd make Texas Vacation. The series would surely go back to its R rating then. Oh hey, it's the guy who sells gas and barbecue. I see no connection between him and the killer. She should be fine. So that's what Franklin was sucking on all afternoon? Well, solves that mystery. He's not the only one who knows the secret to Farmer Vincent's fritters. That's just something people in Texas like to do to woo young ladies. Well, that and seduce them with a jaunty tune.
Eastbound and down, load it up and truck it. Are we gonna do what they say can't be done? We've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. I'm eastbound, just watch no bandit run.
On second thought, maybe you shouldn't have trusted Jeffrey Lewis, especially when Clint Eastwood wasn't present. I take it he's beating his son for breaking the law that there's no hitchhiking in that county. If they drop the word cocksucker every other sentence, this could be a Rob Zombie film.
Look what your brother did to that door!
All he did was just make sure Leatherface cuts in that same exact pattern in all the other movies.
I thought you was in a hurry.
She was in a hurry. Now she's running incredibly fucking late. Thank you very much. By the way, that is not what his hair and skin looked like earlier. A little consistency, please. And can you imagine the cockroaches in that place? Ooh, somebody switched on Jeff Peterson. Well, this is gonna get hilarious. Balls, there goes my penis. I've got a little place in Texas. And do you mind not screaming? He's only trying to see if you're diabetic. It's a little thing called Southern hospitality. Look into it sometime. Actually, this is like if the Manson family put on their own version of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Meatloaf's corpse is gonna be under the table, turned into an actual meatloaf.
I understand you ain't nothing. Me and him do all the work.
I just can't take no pleasure in killing.
How do you poke fun at one of the most disturbing sequences ever put on film? Oh, with cuteness, of course. All this screaming. Can't they just have a conversation about life and shit? I mean, there are sausages on the table. Which one of her friends did they belong to? And what were their backstories? I totally have to know this. Ooh, it's another one of those unnerving close-up shots. I must admit, I'm not a huge fan. What the hell are you doing? Stop it. Will you quit that? You seriously get that out of my... That's really freaking distracting. I don't like that. Okay, I will eat a dead body if you just get that camera out of my freaking face. I will eat flesh. Thank you so much. I probably missed part of the movie now. Oh, I just miss Grandpa bashing her head in with a sledgehammer. I'm going to assume that this is just their way of getting rid of ticks. Now what the hell? That's the second window that she's destroyed. This is in the middle of Nowheresburg, Texas. They're lucky they have one window. Also, this is not convincing day for night. Yes, I got to throw in some day for night bashing. Holy shit. Is there any situation that cannot be saved by Black Angus? I think not. Ow! So that's what that feels like? Maybe we should take the chain off for future movies and be really fucking obvious about it. Sally gets away, leaving the movie with one hell of an ending shot. That is, if you're into that kind of thing. Don't worry, because in about 30 minutes, they're gonna gain some more relatives, jump into a completely different decade, a lynch mob is gonna burn their house down, but Leatherface is gonna survive, as well as a baby who is totally fucking present during this. So this was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Well, as a film critic, I liked it about as much as I liked any movie called The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Clearly, this is an effective movie, but come on. It's exploitation, which has no right to be effective, so I should just write it off as a failure. It's a good thing that the movie's director went on to direct something more conventional, like Poltergeist. It has Spielberg's name on it. It's okay if I like that one. And he also made it... what? Whatever. I'll tell you one thing for sure, this movie has reminded me that I gotta go pick up another delicious McRib before time runs out. What? It's probably made of the same fucking thing they were eating.
Holiday Road. Holiday Road. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick.